We start with a decision by Texas Governor Greg Abbott tonight to allow fans at outdoor professional sporting events up to 25% capacity. We bring in Dr. Scott Gottlieb. He's the former commissioner of the FDA, now a CNBC contributor. Dr. Gottlieb, this is a big step, especially in a state like Texas. How do you feel about this decision tonight?
Well, look, everything's a risk. Sports venues done outside are lower risk than indoor venues. They haven't brought back spectators yet in the indoor venues. They're only bringing back 25% capacity. So I think they're taking reasonable steps, reasonable precautions to lower the risk. But there's going to be a risk bringing together large groups. The risk isn't so much as people standing in the stadium itself, but coming in and out, congregating at stairways and things like that. So if they can figure out ways to move people in and out efficiently, not have them congregate, not have them aggregate in large groups, this can be done in a lower risk way. We see Disney reopening their theme parks. I'm sure Disney's going to do a very good job of keeping people dispersed across that park. So we'll see how good of a job the Texas stadiums are able to do. But, in closing, I'll just say this is against the backdrop of cases going up in Texas. Their cases are going up. They're testing more, so they're capturing more cases. But hospitalizations also appear to be going up. So they're not completely out of the woods yet over there.
How do you feel then about this whole move towards reopening and maybe a checkup, if you will, on where we are? We're making awfully big decisions tonight, Dr. Gottlieb, as we just mentioned this one in Texas at a time where you say hospitalizations are still going up. Are you entirely comfortable with where we are?
Well, some of the increases are from the reopening, and we expected that. We knew that as we reopened, we were going to see a bump up in cases. I'm still hopeful that there'll be a seasonal effect here, and as we get into the warmer months, we'll see that be a backstop against spread. And I think things done outdoors are safer than things done indoors. So we need to be circumspect about reopening purely entertainment venues that are indoors, things like casinos or sports events indoors where you're getting groups together indoors. And so this is a more prudent step if you want to restart sports activities like this. But everything's a risk. And every time we reopen, there's going to be some consequences for it against the backdrop of a virus that's highly contagious and hasn't fully gone away. I think the net consequence here isn't that we have a big upswing in June or July and August. I think the net consequence is that we're going to have this slow burn through the summer. We're still going to have infection, and then it sets up a risk for the fall. And so we just need to be mindful of that and be ready for that to mitigate the potential for spread in the fall.
Been talking so much about, venues opening up and fans, whether they're going to be allowed or not, and the safety and security of the fans. How concerned are you, though, tonight about the players themselves? And I know they're going to be tested a lot, but we also know the tests aren't 100% reliable. How should we be thinking about that part of the equation as we move forward?
Well, the players are at higher risk because they're close together. They're coming in proximity with each other, in locker rooms together, and there's really no way to create physical separation for players who are, playing together in a game like basketball or football or baseball. I think it's possible to create a protective bubble around the players and to bring good testing in, test them regularly, and so you can dramatically reduce the risk. So, in a confined environment with a confined number of people, a group of people that are going to be together, you can create a bubble around them and dramatically lower the risk. It's more of the venues where you have people coming and going that you can't account for, and you don't know the background prevalence of the disease in the places where they're coming from. So you think of things like theme parks or even sports stadiums. That's going to bring together a lot of people that you don't know what their risk is. You don't know what the prevalence was in the communities where they're coming from. So it's harder to get a handle around that.